Hello, Cancer, and welcome to my channel, Tarot by Gabrielle. This is going to be a general reading for Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus signs, looking at your recent past, your current energy, and your immediate future, answering the question, what do you need to know right now in order to move forward in alignment with your higher self? As always, I've gone ahead and pulled the overall energy for the reading and clarified those messages, but I have the tarot deck that we'll be jumping into already shuffled, as well as the decks that I'll be using in the extended. Any information on the extended reading or on booking a personal reading with me is in the description box below. If you watch the love readings on my channel, I talk a lot about focusing on the healing of self, and these readings are what can help you do that. So these are mainly supposed to be focused on your healing journey, the truth behind your healing journey, to help you kind of, like I mentioned, move forward in alignment with your higher self. Do remember, though, these are still general readings. They are not going to resonate fully for everyone. They're not supposed to resonate fully for everyone. So do remember to take what does resonate and help your personal situation and leave what does not. All right, Cancer, let's start by looking at your recent past. This isn't necessarily talking a whole lot about what happened, but about, because these are the overall energies. So bear with me through the overall energy before we actually dive into the situation. But I do see that there's a need to see your recent past from a different perspective, because you have higher ground with Judgment in reverse. And higher ground is like that higher perspective, right? When you climb up on top of the mountain, you can see everything. When you're in the middle of the valley, it's hard to really get the full picture. And then this Judgment in reverse card is the need to see the truth behind the circumstances for me. And so I do feel like there's this need to kind of see past. I mean, it could be seeing past rose-colored glasses. It could be seeing past guilt, shame, disappointment, and trying to get to the root of what went down and what it is that you're needing to learn from it so that you can move forward from it. Now, I do feel like this is a very positive reading for you. We'll get to it in a second, but in your immediate future, you have infinite blessings. So I do think this is all trying to get you to, it's almost like if your past didn't happen the way that it did, these blessings wouldn't be able to take place. Now, in your current energy, you have shift your energy with the 5 of Swords in reverse. The universe is asking you to let go a little bit of your me against the world mentality. Let go a little bit of that survival mode mentality. Now, it's difficult when you've lived in survival mode your whole life. It's hard to believe that there's any other way of living or that there's a better life for you that is available. And so there's kind of this need here to do some introspection on maybe how you've been stuck in survival mode so that you can break yourself out of that. Now, it's interesting because a lot of my readings this week have been very much like this. Like the title of the Gemini reading was actually like breaking out of the matrix, and then in parentheses, the survival mode. And so I feel like right now is a time to look past those limiting patterns that your brain has been living in for so long, right? 95% of our movements, choices, and decisions stem from our subconscious. 5% of the way that we interact with our reality is conscious. So 95% of us, 95% of you is in charge of your decisions in life, the way that you act on things, the choices that you make, and those subconscious patterns, unless you bring into your awareness, will control you. And in that subconscious is where doubt, fear, I just combined those, doubt, fear, negativity, limiting beliefs, that's where all of that lies. And so there's kind of a need to dig into that and figure out what is aligning with survival mode and what is aligning with the belief that you do have to struggle in order to live, and where can you adjust those beliefs to align more with the abundance that not just that you're deserving of and that you desire, but the abundance that the universe wants you to have as well. Now, in your immediate future, you do have infinite blessings with the Wheel of Fortune. So this is the wheel turning in your favor toward these infinite blessings, but this wheel isn't going to turn on its own. Your blessings are not going to show up at your doorstep overnight. This is, when you talk about creating your dream life, it has to be created and built from the ground up, and it starts with how you think and believe and view your life. And so I do feel like this is a pretty powerful read, but let's dive into more of the underline here. So let's see, Cancer, what you were dealing with in your recent past. This is for Cancer's recent past, clarifying higher ground with the Judgment in reverse. Cancer's recent past, clarifying higher ground with the Judgment in reverse. One more. This is for Cancer's recent past, please. Recent past for Cancer. Ha. Queen of Cups in reverse, Three of Cups in reverse, Ten of Wands with the Page of Wands and the Eight of Wands in reverse on the bottom of the deck. I feel, Cancer, as if it has always kind of been your, I don't want to call it a habit, but like a habit to take on the burdens of people around you. Whether it be in romantic relationships, friendships, career paths, like I feel like you have a tendency to kind of absorb other people's burdens and other people's problems, and maybe you have a tendency to kind of be a little bit of a fixer. You know, you see the good in people, you try to bring that out, and I feel like what that is caused is you putting your own needs, desires, dreams on the back burner because you spent so much of your time looking out for everyone else. And I feel like this is something with the Page of Wands here that you have learned from childhood. Maybe it was always your responsibility to take care of everyone around you, or maybe you've never really lived a life or been in experiences that allowed you to put yourself first. And so that might be something that to you is a really foreign concept. But I feel like something happened in your recent past, and I feel like the reason for it was the fact that you were kind of stuck in survival mode instead of like putting yourself first or something. Recent past for Cancer. Just interested how these all tie together. Recent past for Cancer, please. So we do a lot of taking care of others, Cancer. Yeah, literally, that's what that is saying. Okay. So this Ten of Pentacles to me is what aligns with this Infinite Blessings and Wheel of Fortune card. Whew, Cancer. I knew something happened in your recent past. You have the Ten of Swords and the Five of Cups. And then you have the Seven of Cups in reverse, Eight of Wands, and then the Empress in reverse. Anytime that we sacrifice our own, and this is kind of the overall energy of the message, and then I'll kind of dive in here. But anytime that we sacrifice our own needs or worth or value in order to try to make something work, and that can be, again, a relationship, a career path, it can be just a general, like a path in general. When we sacrifice what it is that we need to feel good, to feel fulfilled, that will always come back to bite us. We can only give, care for, love this world, other people, situations, as much as we do those things to ourselves first. So when I do a lot of these readings about putting yourself first and choosing yourself and making the decisions that align with that, even if it's difficult, I get a lot of comments from people saying, well, you know, putting myself first is, or putting yourself first isn't always the main goal because that's really selfish. You know, other people's needs should come before our own sometimes. And absolutely, I agree. There are times when your needs come first and there are times when other people's needs come first. However, if you are in a situation where you are constantly having to sacrifice your needs and you're not ever getting the fulfillment of that situation reciprocated, then that is what I'm talking about. I'm talking about a situation that consistently takes from you and does not provide for you. Because all that does, I have a dog hair in my eye, so apologize for that. All that does is drain our cup. And we can only pour from an empty cup for so long. So one way to look at it is we betray ourselves over and over by giving to someone or giving to a path or giving to situations that don't serve us in a reciprocal manner and they usually end up looking like this. Because oftentimes what we're doing is we're looking for our value in the situations that we're providing value to. And oftentimes when we don't feel valued ourselves, we will often put energy into situations, people, relationships that won't value us back. So that subconscious belief of I am not valued can be validated. And again, remember, 95% of that is happening subconsciously. So a lot of your decisions and movements and choices have kind of aligned with this Emperor in reverse, this not putting yourself first. Now, when I talk about things that end up like this, and I talk about how your decisions can often kind of lead to this, that is not me saying that what has happened to you is your fault. What that is me saying is that there's a part of you that doesn't believe that you are deserving of anything other than this. And that's the part of you that you have the control to be able to, adjust to the belief system to align with infinite blessings and the Ten of Pentacles and the Wheel of Fortune, as opposed to this Ten of Swords and Five of Cups energy. All right. Recent past for Cancer, please. One more. Recent past for Cancer, please. This is for Cancer's recent past. So the universe is asking you to reframe. Oh, I just realized I didn't take the Ten of Pentacles back. The universe is asking you to reframe. Look at that. There's the Five of Swords in reverse. Same one as here. Ace of Pentacles in reverse. Start the sentence over for the third time. The universe is asking you to reframe your past from a place of this happened to me to this was trying to teach me that I'm deserving of more. Because you have the Seven of Pentacles in reverse with this Two of Pentacles in reverse. And this can be the need to reevaluate what you've been investing in. And this is unbalanced priorities. So prioritizing other people's needs above our own, prioritizing survival mode above abundance. And again, these things, it's not your fault that you believe the way that you believe to get you to this place of investing in things like that. But if you want your life to change, if you want this wheel to turn in your favor, you have to be willing to do that deep dive into yourself to say, how am I responsible? How have I played a role in my own suffering? Now, that doesn't take away the responsibility of people who have hurt you, of situations that have hurt you. That's not saying that alleviates the burden of what other people have done to you from them. But it alleviates that idea that that life is out to get you, the world is out to get you, that life is hard and painful, and everything just always kind of ends in disaster. Kind of that cynical view that can be picked up when we have been through really painful experiences. But that's why healing is so vitally important, because if we don't allow ourselves to heal and learn from our pain, that pain will become the root of the reality that we experience, and it will start to control us in ways that we might not even be aware of. So let's shift gears here to your current energy, clarifying shift your energy with the Five of Swords in reverse. Current energy for Cancer, clarifying shift your energy with the Five of Swords in reverse. One more. Current energy for Cancer, please. So there's that Ten of Pentacles again. The Page of Wands in reverse, the Nine of Pentacles. The life that you want, the abundance that you want, because you also have the Nine of Swords in reverse and the Fool in reverse. Whatever this is, whatever this wish fulfillment Ten of Pentacles is, the life that you want to be able to live, the lifestyle you want, the success you want, all of that is absolutely possible. All of it. But you've got to work through this belief that you have to sacrifice your mental or physical health or your needs or whatever it is in order to bring it into reality. There's this belief in our society that everything has to be so difficult. If you're not working 12-hour days, you're not going to make good money. If you're not, if your relationship isn't difficult and challenging and painful, then the relationship isn't worth it, right? There's this belief in our society that success has to come with an equal level of pain. And that means success in any aspect of our life. And though the road to getting to where we want to be and the abundance that we want, the success that we want, although it can be challenging, there's no doubt about that. It's going to be challenging. It's going to push you past your comfort zone. It's going to make you grow and rise to the occasion, but it doesn't have to hurt. It doesn't have to be a painful experience to get to where you want to go. But when we've been living in survival mode for so long, we believe that we have to sacrifice aspects of our again, our mental, physical, and emotional well-being in order to bring about the results that we want. And so you have this Nine of Swords in reverse with the Fool in reverse, like I said, and it's almost like you're in this process right now of kind of shifting your energy. Whether or not you realize it, your energy is trying to shift from a place of survival and suffering to a place of abundance and faith, almost. Now, that might be difficult for you to see because, again, shifting your belief system is the first step to actually watching it manifest into reality. It all starts within. As above, so below, as within, so without. Whatever we believe about our reality, however we perceive our reality, is going to be the reality that we experience. Now, when you've been through really painful things in your life, it's going to be natural for you to believe in alignment with that survival mode if that's all that you've ever experienced. And so, like I said, at the beginning, you have been experiencing the survival mode for an entire lifetime, possibly lifetimes before this. And so, of course, you're going to believe so deeply that your survival and your sacrifices and your pain is the only thing that's ever going to bring about anything good in your life. And so there's kind of a need to shift that mindset a little bit, to shift your energy. In theory, manifestation is actually incredibly easy. If we could just, with the snap of a finger, align all of our beliefs to believe that we are deserving, worthy, capable of creating the life of our dreams, then the life of our dreams would manifest in an instant. But because these beliefs are rooted in lifetimes of experience, then we are, literally trying to recreate a belief system from the ground up, and that's not something you can do overnight. And so it can be easy in theory, but it's difficult in practice. But it works. I've watched it work in my own life. I've watched it work in other people that I've helped through this journey. It works. Current energy for Cancer, please. Star, Knight of Cups in reverse, Six of Wands in reverse. I feel like you're kind of in a pretty ooh, I like that. Five of Pentacles in reverse. A pretty heavily triggered energy right now. I feel like you're possibly a little bit more emotional than usual. Now, whether or not you're allowing yourself to feel these emotions, it's beside the point. But I do feel like there's a lot going on for you, Cancer, right now. And with the star here, every time that we're triggered, or we feel reactive, or we feel like we're going to blow up on someone, or we feel like we're going to allow our emotion to drive our experience. Anytime we experience that, we actually have an opportunity. Because what those triggers are your past belief system coming to the surface. It's your survival mode coming to the surface. There's a part of you, a little inner child part of you that feels unsafe or angry or sad because of what it has experienced, and it feels like it is through the experience that you're currently having. It feels like it is experiencing something from your past again. And so those reactions are those limiting beliefs coming to light and being brought to the surface. Now, in those moments, we have a choice. We have a choice to allow that trigger, allow that limiting belief to dictate our movements, choices, and decisions. Or we have the ability to choose differently. And choosing differently means choosing in alignment with where you want to go instead of where you have been. Is Gabby Bernstein, I think, that I heard talk about this once, and she had a similar concept to this, but I've kind of adopted my own. That kind of fits the way that I talk about things. And I don't know if you have a TikTok or not, right? But if you don't, the concept of TikTok, of those kinds of just really social media in general, but those kinds of apps, is that if you interact with videos, you will see more of those on your feed. So you see a puppy video pop up, that's a really cute puppy video, you like it, comment, how cute. You will see the next day, you'll get on TikTok and you'll see like freaking 20 puppy videos. I like to apply this concept to life, because then you have the people on TikTok who respond to all these videos that make them angry. You know, whether it be political videos or religious videos or just videos in general that are full of negativity, and they'll comment and interact with that negativity. And per the algorithm, those negative videos will continue to appear on their feed because they are interacting with them. And I like to apply that, and you can see it on Facebook too. You typically see at the top of your feed the posts that align more with your beliefs and more with your values and more with the things that you agree with. And that's why when you interact with them, you see more of them. And if you interact with things that make you angry, you see more of those. And I like to apply this to life, because when you interact with good emotions and positive energy, and you give that positive energy out, just like that algorithm, you're going to start to receive that same kind of positive energy back into your life. But if you allow those triggers and those limiting beliefs to cause you to give energy to your life from that place, that will, just like the algorithm, bring more and more situations that align with that energy. Now, that doesn't mean when you're in a triggered state, you're supposed to just like shove it down and ignore it. What it means is that you're supposed to take a step back, process it. If you need to walk away from the situation, spend some time alone, let it, sit with it, work through it. And then when you get to a place where you're clear-minded again, when you don't feel as angry or as frustrated or as emotional, then you make whatever decision or you make whatever move next. That is how you change your life. That is how you change your belief system. But in order to actually choose differently, you have to be aware of when those experiences are starting to come up. So I say all of that because I do feel like I said, you're kind of in an energy that is definitely a little bit more triggering, but you have try not to look at it as a negative. And of course it feels that way, and I don't want to invalidate what anyone's feeling, but try not to look at it as a negative. Try to shift your perspective on it as something that is potentially an opportunity for something good to come from it. The other thing that's really coming through is that what is meant for you, Cancer, it will never pass you. If something is meant to be in your life, it will be in your life. If someone is meant to be in your life, it will be in your life. You have never lost your chance at being happy. You have never ruined your chance at having a life of abundance, ever. I don't care what you've done. I don't care what your life looks like. I do care. I care about the people that I read for. But what I mean is, part of this message, I don't care how things have gone for you. You always have the ability to turn things around. You always have the ability to build your life up from the ground up. You always have the ability to start over. And usually when you're starting over, it's with a hell of a lot more wisdom and understanding because of what you've been through, because of watching your life seemingly fall apart, because of the loss and the pain that you've endured. I hope all that made sense. I know that was kind of a long message, but that was the best way that I could bring it forward. All right. Yeah, the Chariot in reverse with the Four of Swords in reverse. You're in this burnt out, frustrated energy. Things aren't progressing the way that you want. Things aren't necessarily moving forward the way that you expected or the way that you had hoped. It doesn't mean that they're not working out for you. It means that you're in an energy with the shift your energy in the Five of Swords in reverse of working through that inner child-based belief system of things aren't going to be okay. I'm going to be alone forever. I'm going to end up homeless and on the street. I'm never going to get myself out of this debt. Whatever it is that you believe about your reality or that you ultimately fear. When we are experiencing triggers that poke at our deepest fears, it feels intense in the moment because there is a part of us that quite literally feels as if our safety is being put into question. And whenever you can start to realize that all of the safety, security, love, support, all of that comes from within and from your belief system, because whatever you believe about what you're deserving of, what this world is capable of, is what you're going to experience, then you start to break out of those limiting beliefs. You start to break out of that survival mode. You break out of those self-imposed, like almost like prison that exists in your mind. Now, again, when I say self-imposed, that doesn't mean, how dare you, Cancer, it's all your fault. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that there is a part of you that is more in control of the reality that you're experiencing than you have given yourself credit for. And so, yeah, looking at your past and looking at how your decisions have affected you, it's hard. It's hard to take responsibility in that way, especially if you've been in pretty painful situations. But the more that you do that, the more you start to see, okay, if I'm responsible for how things haven't gone my way, then that means that I'm also responsible for things going my way. And that allows you to take your power back and shift your focus to creating the life that you want. All right, immediate future for Cancer, clarifying infinite blessings with the Wheel of Fortune. Immediate future for Cancer, clarifying infinite blessings with the Wheel of Fortune. This is for Cancer's immediate future. I really like this reading. Everything that I'm talking about in this reading is everything that I like that. Is everything that I very much, the purpose of why I do this is wanting to help people learn how powerful they are and how much you do have the ability to create a life beyond anything that you can imagine. Ace of Pentacles, same judgment in reverse as this, and then that inner child energy again. These infinite blessings, I talked about this when I read this overall energy, how this wheel isn't going to turn on its own. You're going to have to turn it yourself. Well, look at that. In your immediate future, you have the opportunity to do that. You always have this opportunity to have the wheel turn in your favor. But look, this is about getting really very real, looking past the situation of your past and looking at how there was a part of you that created this situation, or at least invested in this situation because you felt like your worth or your value was dependent on the sacrifice of your worth or value. It's kind of funny how we do that, right? We think that, oh, I'm not going to be loved unless I sacrifice my needs. I'm not going to be successful unless I'm burnt out, exhausted all of the time. And we believe that because that's all that we've experienced. But life doesn't have to be that hard. I'm experiencing and have experienced more financial and just overall abundance in my life when I actually started to slow down and follow my intuitive guidance, as opposed to when I was spinning my wheel, burning myself out, working 12 to 14-hour days for someone else instead of, working for myself and focusing on what makes me feel joy. That's what's caused the wheel for in my own personal life to turn in my favor. And so there's always a way for us to create abundance from a place of joy and peace and love. But we have to be willing to take accountability for the way that the wheel hasn't turned in our favor in the past. Immediate future for Cancer. I hope this is making sense. I know that sometimes these readings can be triggering for people when I talk about how, to take responsibility for the role you've played in your own suffering. There's a quote that said, it's like, the extent that a man can grow is equal to the extent of the truth that they're willing to accept about themselves. That's not the exact quote, but something about that. Like without running away, that's what it is. It's like the extent that one can grow is directly correlated to the extent that that individual is willing to accept truth about themselves without running away. And that's a hard thing to do, taking that honest look in the mirror and looking at how you've played a role in your own suffering. But it's also the most freeing thing you can do for yourself. All right, immediate future here for Cancer, please. This is the universe telling you that you haven't lost anything. 6 of Cups in reverse with the 5 of Pentacles. You haven't lost anything here, Cancer. In fact, every loss that we do encounter is the opportunity for a gain. If you have lost something that is meant to be in your life, that thing will come back. If it's not supposed to be in your life, something better will take its place. You can be absolutely 100% sure about that. I've lost a lot in my life. I've lost a lot of friends. I've lost a lot of family members. I've lost people to death and addiction, to my own choices in life. I've lost a lot. And though I still have love for the things in my life that have gone, every single thing I have ever lost has been replaced with something of equal value or better. And sometimes some things from my past come back. Now, again, I know not everyone's path is the same, but, in these readings, I do like to speak both from my personal experience and my experience as a spiritual coach, because I think that that's what we're here to do, is use our experience to help others, right? But I can tell you that there were times where I thought I was never going to be okay after the loss of a relationship. I thought I'd never love again. I thought I'd never be happy again. I thought I'd never experience peace or joy again. And every single time I was wrong, because life did its thing. I learned what I needed to. I healed. I moved forward, and I was able to experience even better. And that continues to be the case in my life. And so I say that to say that if you are looking at your past as that's where your happiness exists, or you're never going to be happy again unless your past comes back, or you're never going to be okay again unless things go back to how they once were, that's not true. You always have the ability to recreate your life from the ground up. And though it might not look exactly like you think it should or exactly like you think it would, it's going to be better. It's always better. The more that you put your faith in the universe, the more that things will work out better than you ever could have imagined. So I do definitely see, if you are doing the healing, if you're working on yourself, if you're taking these things into account, I do see kind of a bit of a door opening up for you, Cancer, here in your immediate future. One more message for Cancer's immediate future. One more message for Cancer's immediate future. It's almost like hijacking the algorithm of life, right? Like kind of like what I was talking about. Don't allow your past to dictate your future. If you woke up tomorrow and you forgot everything that's ever happened to you, just say that that's the case. You woke up tomorrow and you just forgot. You woke up with a clean slate. You forgot mistakes you've made. You still have like the wisdom of the things that you've been through, but like you forgot the experiences. You don't have any attachments to anyone or anything. What would you do? How would you start over? How would you open the doors for yourself? How would you move forward? And especially if you knew you couldn't fail, if you knew that you could have your dream life, and that if you knew that it could come easy to you, what would you do? And then start to take steps in that direction. It's your inner child that doubts you. It's your inner child. There's a part of you, a little you here, Cancer, that really doubts whether or not you can do it. You can get there. You're going to be okay. You're worthy of love. That there's a part of you that needs some serious, serious love. And I talked about this too in a couple other videos, but when you're experiencing those super heightened triggered states, try to figure out which version of you is being triggered. Is it the little version of you that never felt heard or understood? Is it the version of you that felt unloved? Is it the version of you that felt abandoned? Is it the version of you that felt like they weren't good enough or smart enough or attractive enough? Or what version of you is coming out in that moment? And then give love to that version of you. Allow it the space to exist. Allow it the space to feel what it needs to, but then remind it that it's going to be okay, and that you don't have to allow those fears and those triggers to dictate your life anymore. This was an interesting reading. Hope it resonated for someone out there. So in this reading, Cancer, we looked at what you need to know in order to move forward in alignment with your higher self. In the extended, we're going to look at what you need to do in order to move forward in alignment with your higher self. So we'll clarify the messages and then pull some advice from both Spirit, and I will be providing advice from my experience as a spiritual coach. So all of the information for that is in the description box below. Thank you so much, Cancer, as always, for your support of my channel. I do hope that this reading helped and resonated with you in a way that you were needing today. And as always, Cancer, I wish you nothing but love and healing on your journey moving forward. All right, bye, Cancer.